Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about something I've been going through, which is the purging process, the clearing of the old. Sometimes it can feel like an inner death. We can have lots of negativity arise seemingly out of nowhere, but it really isn't out of nowhere. What's happening is as we come into more awareness, as we come into more consciousness, we need to alchemize. We need to let go of the old. We need to let go of the energies within us that have been repressed and suppressed over lifetimes. And sometimes this can hit you out of nowhere, and that's what happened with me. Lately, I've been asking, to be more of a conduit, to be a vessel for divine will. I've been asking God to help me to surrender my worldly desires, my egoic desires, so that I can be of more service to the light, so that I can be more of a clear conduit for grace to flow through me, to speak through me and act through me. And when we ask for these things, what we're really asking for is we're asking to evolve. The clearer our conduit is, the more empty that we are, the more that the grace of God, the more that the intelligence of the universe can shine through, can radiate through, the more that source can express through us as us. So when we ask to be of service to the light, when we ask to be of service to the intelligence of life, what's going to happen is we are going to have to feel all of the stored up emotions, pains, traumas, fear, anger, depression, apathy that is still stored in our body, that's stored in our cellular memory, that's stored in our DNA. Because if we want to become empty, we have to really clear all that is distorting what's coming through. Because source is always coming through us. Even in our most unconscious moments, source is still there. What's happening is the message is being distorted by the pockets of unconsciousness that are residing in us. So source comes through, but it hits a pocket of unconsciousness, and then it gets expressed not as pure source energy, not as pure source intelligence, but it gets expressed through the distortion of the unconsciousness that we haven't cleared yet. So as we start clearing, as we start healing, source energy can start expressing through us more clearly because our vessel has been more emptied out. There's less of those pockets of unconsciousness, those pockets of unresolved trauma and issue and pain that we've been avoiding. And today I had a huge purge of fear. First, last night I died on a flight from somewhere in Florida on the way to Austin, Texas. The airline was going right into the ocean, and in that moment, I asked myself, am I really immortal? Do I really believe that? And I did, and I had no fear. And then we went into this gray cyclone thing, and I died, and then I woke up. And I woke up in this, I couldn't even move. I was so, there was so much fear surging through me that I was so wrapped in fear. It was if you wake up from a nightmare and you can't even roll over to the other side, because there's so much terror in your body still. That was the case. And then I somehow went back to sleep, and then I woke up feeling 1,000 years old and just super exhausted and chronically fatigued on a deep cellular level. And then this morning, I had so much fear coming up in my consciousness. And all the while, I was thanking God, I was thanking Source. Thank you for helping me to clear this. Thank you for helping me to see what is in my vessel that needs to be healed, that needs to be felt so that it can be released and integrated into the light, integrated into oneness. And I literally this morning, guys, I was feeling a death within. I was feeling like I was dying. Part of me thinks that dream I had, which felt so real, was part of my fear of death dissolving. Because in that moment where the aircraft was going into the ocean at it felt like 1,000 miles an hour, and everyone else was screaming, bloody murder, just screaming. I just remained so calm, and the question was asked to me, do you really know that you're an immortal being? And I said, yes, I know. I'm not afraid. I will die right now. And then, boom, the death occurred with no fear in my body. But then I woke up to all that fear that's coming up to be released, to die. The aspects of me that are afraid of death and all that involves. Our fear of death encompasses so much of what we're afraid of in this life, our fear of survival. And it's a lot of times why we're not authentic and we don't speak our truth. It's that underlying fear of death. And so when these parts of you die, you're gonna have to feel them. There's no other way but through. But know that this is a gift. This is a divine gift. If you're feeling strong emotions emerge, but you have the consciousness to observe them without becoming lost to them and without making an identity out of them, know that they will release from your being. Know that this container that you exist in is just it's a transmutation. It's transmutation comes naturally to the body. It's only the imagination that slows down the transmutation process, because the imagination, when the fear comes up, the imagination makes a story out of it and gets attached to it and believes it. And in that way, it stops the body from allowing it to release. Because when we believe the story of fear, we instinctively want to suppress it or repress it, and then it stays in the body. But if we can let the fear come up, if we can let the universe help us to see that which is unconscious within us by allowing us to feel it, if we can do that without believing it, with just watching it and opening to it, I can't stress that enough. Earlier this morning, as I was having so much fear in my body clearing, and I was feeling like I was dying inside, I just kept opening my solar plexus, opening my heart chakra. And I'll end this video with how this all works. So I don't know if you can tell or not, I had a little haircut today. And as I was going to the haircut, I was like, how's this gonna work? I'm clearing massive amounts of fear, more fear than I feel like I've cleared in a long time. And I have to go sit in this chair with someone I've never met, right? Who's gonna cut my hair. And as I was walking in, I was like, what am I gonna do with all this fear? But then it was just, right as I walked in, it was just gone. And I was just able to be authentic, and it just was a nice, peaceful experience. And it was, I think a year ago, I would have avoided the haircut. I wouldn't have gone. But ever since I've woken up to every time we walk into our fear, that's when we are in alignment. It always takes us to our evolutionary edge. It always takes us to a place where we realize that we have more capacity and more capabilities than we knew of ourselves before. And we realize just how unlimited we are, and that it's our minds that tell us we're limited. And it helps us to not believe the story in the mind as what's real, and to see it's just a story. So when the fear comes up, when the anger comes up, when these dense feelings of depression and darkness come up, it's so important we don't believe the story in the mind, because it's just a story. We let the story be there, we observe it, we almost even laugh at it, like, okay, mind, that's really scary what you're telling me. But I know that I'm not you, mind, and I know that your mind is innocent. It's not something we need to struggle with or fight with. It's just been programmed. It's just been conditioned. It's an innocent survival machine. But as you start rooting yourself in your feeling center and not believing your thoughts, you'll notice your mind won't be such an enemy anymore. It won't create so much havoc in your life. It'll relax. It'll start to trust the process that is unfolding, and it will start to repurpose itself as an assistant to the divine will that's flowing through you as you clear your container, as you empty your vessel by feeling the unconsciousness within, by shining the light of awareness on all of the negativity that arises within you with openness and trust and fearlessness. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope my recent fear clearing experience, my recent death of the fear of death experience is helpful to you guys. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Namaste.